Did you know that 50% of men in the United States suffer from some form of erectile dysfunction? I know you're like, what? Yes, that is true. 50% of men will suffer from some form of erectile dysfunction. And tonight on Wife Chat, I am going to help you as a wife understand what your husband might be going through if he's experiencing some form of erectile dysfunction.
We're bringing sexy back. We're bringing sexy back.
Let's get it started. Harder, won't you give it up? What you embody.
Hello, beautiful lady. Thank you so much for joining me tonight here on Wife Life with Gail. Just know that I come to you every single Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So do me a huge favor. Make sure that you're hitting the subscribe button. Make sure you're telling all my one sexy wives that Wife Life with Gail is going down here on YouTube. So again, I am so grateful to be able to come to you. And this is something that I absolutely love to do every single day. I get the opportunity to educate and to strengthen marriages as a sexologist, as a licensed marriage and family counselor. And so again, I consider it a privilege and an honor. And most people don't like to talk about erectile dysfunction, but let me just tell you, it is running rapid in our society. And I'm going to talk to you about it because as a wife, it can affect us in so many different ways and hugely affect our men, the men that we love, the men that we say, I do too. And if you're watching and you're not married and you're like, okay, Gail, I'm just in a relationship, this too will probably affect your relationship in some form or fashion. Most people used to think that a man dealing with erectile dysfunction is a man that is pretty old and shouldn't be having sex in the first place. But let me just tell you that statistics are saying that a man from the age of 16 until he goes on to glory, and that means to die, will experience some form of erectile dysfunction. And it's different levels to erectile dysfunction, but I'm going to just talk about in general how to help your spouse deal with erectile dysfunction. And you know, the old adage used to be if mama's not happy, nobody's happy. Well, I'm going to coin a new phrase. If daddy's penis is not working, he's not working. And so many women that come to me that are dealing with erectile dysfunction, and I have counseled couples as young as 33 that were dealing with this up until, late into their 60s. And again, it's going to happen to every single man because they will experience some form of, hormone drops. Just like women experience it, men experience it as well. It's just not talked about as much as it is for a woman. And again, I literally wrote this book, Praying for the Penis, right? A wife's guide to understanding a male's sexual health. And the reason why I wrote the book is because, again, in my practice, I get a chance to see how this is affecting marriages all over the world. And so, again, 50% of men will deal with this, right? So that means that like 30 million men are dealing with erectile dysfunction right now as I'm speaking to you. 30 million men. That's a lot of men that are dealing with it, and they really don't understand how to deal with it because men going to the doctor is literally like pulling teeth, right? They only go when they're pretty much like at the end of the road or whatever they're dealing with. And especially when they're dealing with erectile dysfunction because they really don't understand what's going on with their bodies. They don't understand why it's happening, especially when they're a younger man and they've never experienced any type of other physical problems. But let me just give you some precursors of a reason why a lot of men, especially African American men, have a higher rate of dealing with erectile dysfunction. Not to say that Caucasians and Latino men don't deal with it because they do, but African American men deal with it at a higher rate. And the reason why is because we have a higher rate of high blood pressure that is undiagnosed and untreated. We have a higher rate of sugar diabetes that is not diagnosed and not treated. And so those are two of the biggest reasons why men across the board deal with erectile dysfunction. It could also be trauma to the penis or that area that can also cause erectile dysfunction. But again, let me just tell you, erectile dysfunction is 100% treatable, right? Unless there is something a little bit greater, like a cancer or something like that. But that still can be mitigated, and you can still overcome that with some help of some different devices, right? And again, I talk about all the different remedies and all the different devices and stuff like that that you can introduce into your bedroom to help your husband stay erect, help your husband achieve orgasm, and all of those different kind of things. But tonight, I just really want to talk to women. If you're dealing with a man that is dealing with erectile dysfunction, it's not unto death. But you have to realize and understand where he is, because we as a society have taught them to be a man, don't be vulnerable, suck it up, make it happen. And a lot of his self-esteem is built being able to perform in the bedroom. And when that is not up to where his standards are, he begins to pull away. And a lot of times, as wives, we internalize that and think that he's either having an affair because, our mind goes, if he's not getting it from me, he's getting it from somewhere, right? So the first thing that happens is usually they pull away. And we begin to question, like, what are you doing? Are you having an affair? And we begin to accuse them, right? Because again, they're wondering and wanting to know how to fix it without telling you that they're having challenges when it comes to that. So instead of wanting to engage in sex, they just pull away. And this is the time, again, I'm going to talk to you men. This is not a time to pull away. This is the time to lean on your spouse and say, I'm struggling here. I need help. And again, you don't always have to run to the doctor. That is your best course of action. But there's some things, like I said, in my book, Praying for the Penis, that can really put you in a situation as a wife to be able to have the conversation, understand what's going on with your husband, and help him out. Like in this book, I talk about different sex toys that can be introduced into your bedroom that have nothing to do with pleasing him or you, but also help him to rise to the occasion, stay erect, so you can have meaningful sex. Because some people think that sex toys are all bad, and they're not. They can be very helpful when used correctly and you know the purpose of them. Okay. And I'm not going to go into an in-depth conversation about that. I will probably do another teaching on sex toys and the benefits of them. But, I also in here talk about some different massages that you can do as a wife to help the blood flow begin to flow back into the penis. But again, my thing with this is really to get your spouse to understand the importance of taking care of his health and finding out what is the root cause of the erectile dysfunction. Because a lot of times it can be treated. They have a pre-existing condition like a blood pressure or sugar diabetes that needs to be treated in order for his body to line up and to be able to perform the way he's used to being able to perform. So it really just starts with creating a safe place and asking the right questions. And I guide you through the questions that you should ask your husband without accusing him or making him feel that he can't open up to you to have that conversation. Okay. I also have an ebook called Help Him Rise Naturally. And that is an ebook just about how you can introduce different things into his diet to help him rise naturally. I give you a free cocktail. It's a smoothie that you can, make and help him, you just feed it to him and he don't even know what's happening. And it also sweetens his juices as well. Because, I did another video about oral sex that 80% of married men want their wives to perform oral sex. And that's a whole different teaching as well. But again, the cocktail actually sweetens his juices. It also introduces things into his diet to help him rise naturally. That is if he doesn't have any other pre-existing conditions. I also talk about some other things that you can introduce when you cook in order to help him, help his libido, help with his hormones, all kind of different things. So that's an ebook as well. So you can just look at the cover, go to my website, gailcrowder.com, and purchase that book. And you can also purchase this book as well, either off my website or on Amazon. All you need to do is remember Praying for the Penis, or just type in my name, Gail Crowder, on Amazon, and all those books will come up as well. So again, I want you to understand, as a wife, you need to really create a safe place for your husband to be vulnerable, to talk about his shortcomings when it comes to erectile dysfunction. So you need to create a safe place for your husband to be able to come talk to you about his erectile dysfunction. You need to listen to understand and not listen to respond. I'm going to repeat that. Listen to understand and not listen to respond. Because it's already something that is making him feel less than a man. The next thing that you need to really understand about erectile dysfunction is that when a man is not able to perform sexually up to what he feels is his standards, it literally can send him into a depressed state. It will send him into a depressed state. He will begin to pull away. He won't talk, because men are not usually talkative in the first place, but he will begin to pull away, and he will begin to really put you like on the back burner, because he's really trying to figure this thing out. Again, we don't understand how powerful the penis is to a man. And we didn't create this. Society has created this, right? About his package and how, he leads with that and all those different kind of things, which is not true. But it is tied to his manhood. And we need to be able to understand that as wives. And the last thing that I want to leave you with some encouragement for you men who are listening to me, and your wives or your significant others that are supporting you. Having and experiencing erectile dysfunction is not unto death. It is 100% fixable. But you have to be open and willing to explore what is out there to help you. And that starts with going to the doctor. I cannot stress that enough. Going to see a doctor to make sure and to rule out what is causing this, and being 100% open and honest with the physician so they can diagnose you correctly and put you on the right path to be able to rise to the occasion every single time that you want to give and to receive pleasure. Because again, it's not unto death. And just know that 30 other million men are experiencing erectile dysfunction. They're just not putting it out there. They're just not, pushing it out like we do as women. If we're going through menopause and having hot flashes, we're having conversations. We're chatting about it. We're getting solutions. We're going to the doctors. But for you men, you're like, I can't do that. I can't talk about that. I got to suffer in silence. No, you do not. There are so many remedies that are out there for you. And again, as a sexologist, I want you to be able to rise to the occasion. That's the reason why I do what I do every single day, because I am on a mission to make sure that married people enjoy sex the way the single people are enjoying sex, but doing it in a healthy way. So again, I thank you so much for joining me tonight here on Wife Life with Gail. I am here every single Thursday at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Make sure that you're spreading the word. Make sure that you're subscribing to my channel. And I will see you next Thursday. I love you guys to pieces. Have an amazing, amazing night.
We're bringing sexy back. We're bringing sexy back.
Let's get it started. Harder, won't you give it up? What you want by